Hello and welcome to this videocast for subscribers to davidicke.com. Well, I've ruffled a few feathers this week, which is kind of appropriate because I did it on Twitter. And it wasn't as you might think because of what I said, but what I did apparently. See, I've never been on Twitter before. That was the first time that I've actually physically posted. Other people have posted things for me before. It's really not my scene. But I had a spare hour a few days ago. And I thought, I'll go on that Twitter and have a go and see what you do. So I went through that morning's headlines on davidicke.com, or some of them anyway. Made a few comments and on what was happening in the news and what have you. And then I shut everything down, and I got on with my day, got on with my life. Well, as the comedian Peter Kay said in one of his jokes, you'd have thought I'd have gone in their house on Christmas Day and pissed on their kids. Too many tweets. You've over-tweeted. Beg your pardon? Too many tweets. You mean there are rules on Twitter? I mean, if you think there's too many tweets from someone, well, don't bloody read them then. Go to the next one. There were loads of others being posted at the same time as I was doing my thing. Oh, no, too many tweets. And apparently what you're supposed to do is space them out through the day. Well, I don't want to be on Twitter endless times a day. I had a spare hour. This is what I've got to say. Okay, see you guys, all the best. But no, there are rules. There's got to be rules for everything. You can't have life without rules. Well, actually, you can have life without rules. What you can't have without rules is control. And we are drowning in bloody rules. Anyway, some of the responses were like extraordinary. I mean, the things that humans get their knickers in a bloody twist about. There's all these things going on in the world, all these things that need addressing, all these things that need focusing upon, that need challenging. And yet we get diverted and upset, or even kind of furious about things that don't fricking matter. This is one response that kind of makes my point. This says, enough is enough. Okay, fair enough. After 20 years, you have lost a fan. 70 tweets already today is far too many tweets. Well, it wasn't 70. Don't be silly. But let's think about that. After 20 years, you've now lost a fan. So, okay, for 20 years then, the person thought I was doing a decent job. Right? Yeah. Okay. And if they've been looking at what I'm doing for 20 years, it means that they must realize that there's some kind of conspiracy going on to enslave humanity on a scale and to an extent that was significantly understated by George Orwell. Right? Yeah. So you think that I've done a decent job for 20 years, and you realize that there is a conspiracy going on that has to be addressed urgently. But you're not supporting it anymore. Let's have it again because of what? Too many tweets. I mean, that for me is a form of madness. If you look at the definition of madness as the inability for balanced thought, the inability to put things, this is the word, into a perspective, then that's a form of madness. And it's the big penny that needs to drop to understand the world is that the world is mad. And I don't just say that as a throwaway term, a throwaway word. People often think of insanity and states of insanity as people in institutions and asylums. But the big penny is when you realize that human society is an asylum. It's a madhouse. And humanity provides the inmates. We're living in a lunatic asylum called planet Earth and humanity. And if you've got any kind of balanced mind, that's when you stand out, because the people in the asylum think you're crazy, because to them, madness is normal. It's their sanity. And so if you try to work out the world, if you try to understand the world, if you try to make sense of the world by treating it as some kind of sane place, trying to make sense of craziness while still believing the world is in some way sane, then you're never going to get it. You'll be on your deathbed, still trying to work it out, still trying to make sense of the world. And lots of people think, well, it must be me then. It ain't you. No. The world is mad. It's not you. You're the same one. And you start to realize, or you start to see with crystal clarity, what is happening in the world and why, when you realize that you're in a lunatic asylum, and therefore insanity is the norm.